For the next stretch of time, Gu Huai kept creating while taking care of Anan. He also asked a matchmaker to introduce him to a few women, but the second they heard he was disabled, most of them turned him down before even meeting him. He was frustrated, sure, but it never changed his determination to adopt Anan. That day, after drawing seagulls with Anan by the sea, the two of them headed home laughing and chatting. But the moment they reached the house, two people stepped in front of them. Those familiar faces had haunted Gu Huai's nightmares more times than he could count. More than 4 months later, seeing Su Mengyao and her daughter again still made his heart clench. His first instinct was to turn around and leave, but then he felt Anan's little hand in his palm, and his body slowly straightened. That fear and dread Su Mengyao used to trigger in him started fading away, little by little. Shuji had huge respect for this author, and tried more than once to meet him, but got turned down every time. She figured the man behind the work had to be some older, worldly artist to capture life that vividly. What she didn't expect was a man about her age. After talking for a bit, Shujiri realized Gu Huai wasn't just attractive. He also had a sharp, original take on design, and the second he started talking about the sea, he just lit up. Shujiri rested her chin in her hand and watched him quietly, sometimes giving him a look of admiration and encouragement, other times throwing out insights that made his eyes widen. Before they knew it, they'd been talking from noon into the afternoon. It wasn't until Gu Huai glanced at the time that he hurriedly got up to leave. Thinking he had somewhere important to be, Shujiri offered him a ride. But when the car pulled up outside a kindergarten, and a little girl ran straight into his arms, Shujiri finally understood. He'd been in such a rush because he had to pick up his little girl. In Shujiri's mind, designers were supposed to be lone wolves, people removed from everyday life. But who would have thought the creator of the sea was also a total girl dad? And in that moment, the strange sense of regret flickered through her. If Gu Huai was already married, that was just a shame. The thought had barely crossed her mind before Shujiri panicked. This was their first time meeting, so why was she feeling this way? She forced herself to calm down and stepped out of the car. After Gu Huai introduced them, Anan looked at Shujiri with open curiosity. Then, with the blunt honesty only kids have, Anan asked if this was the new mommy daddy had found for her. Gu Huai was so embarrassed he wished he could disappear on the spot. Shujiri, on the other hand, handled it with total ease. She greeted Anan warmly, scooped her up, and carried her to the car, while Gu Huai could only follow behind awkwardly. Watching the two of them walk ahead side by side, Gu Huai couldn't help drifting into an unrealistic fantasy. But reality hit fast. A divorced man with a disability had no business wanting someone like Shujiri. Back at the little courtyard house, Shujiri played with Anan while Gu Huai worked in the kitchen. Every time he glanced outside and saw them getting along so naturally, he couldn't help but smile. Anan clearly adored Shujiri and didn't want to go to bed until very late. Once things finally quieted down, Gu Huai opened up about Anan's past, and Shujiri felt even more for him. Her feelings only deepened. She couldn't help asking what he planned to do if he couldn't get married in time and wasn't allowed to adopt Anan. Gu Huai looked at Shujiri, and the thought he'd been burying almost slipped out. Shujiri seemed to sense it too and turned away, her ears turning red. Neither of them said it out loud, but in that moment, they both understood. The sea breeze lifted Shujiri's hair, making her look almost unreal, like something out of the night itself. Gu Huai didn't dare stay any longer. Afraid she'd see through him, he got up and left in a hurry. Shujiri watched him practically flee and couldn't help smiling. The next morning, Gu Huai and Shujiri took Anan to kindergarten together. The whole way there, Anan kept glancing back and forth between them, clearly up to something. Gu Huai was about to cough and tell her to behave, but Shujiri just smiled and patted her head, her eyes full of affection. But once they got back home, the mood turned a little awkward. It wasn't as easy and natural as it had been the day before at the cafe. Shujiri only stayed at the little courtyard for 2 days before leaving. On the day she left, Gu Huai didn't want her to go, but he also knew they came from completely different worlds, so he didn't dare hope for much. The second Shujiri was gone, Anan sadly asked if Auntie Shu would ever come visit again. For a moment Gu Huai had no idea how to answer.